Game 4 about to get underway. vVv's Rough versus Convergent Gaming's Cuz as a Terran versus Protoss. Rough spawning as the blue Terran, Cuz spawning as the purple Protoss, as this game should be getting underway.
Yeah, once again, sticking with purple, we will have Cuz spawning as the purple Protoss in the southwest quarter, and vVv is Rough, their last Terran player, spawning as the blue Terran in the northeast corner on the ever familiar Xel'Naga Caverns here. So I'm sure both players so very comfortable on this map. They've got their builds all planned out. They know exactly what they want to do each and every time they see this map load up. I wonder when this one will finally make its way off the ladder map pool. I know that'll be a sad day for me and other players.
Yeah, as we see Rough opening up with a curious 9 depot. So he wanted to get that supply depot just a little bit earlier. Not quite sure what that was about. Perhaps he will be going for a gas now, or is he going to be opening up with that standard barracks? Perhaps that may have just been a misclick coming in from Rough. We do see a pylon being built over here on the top left-hand side of Cuz's base. Perhaps he is expecting some sort of proxy barracks or wanted to get a little bit more sight as opposed to building close to home, as we haven't seen any more buildings coming in from these players at all.
Yeah, the barracks going up for Rough, relatively normal timing there. So far so good on a normal game from our Terran player. Gateway going up by Cuz, and he's using that probe to attack move all over the map. He wants to make sure that no proxy shenanigans are happening, and he will not find any so far, as Rough playing relatively standard here, getting up the gas as well. So we'll see what Rough has in store for us.
Yeah, Rough will most likely be able to train up one Marine, get up another supply depot, and then go into a factory. Or he can go into a 2-racks build. I've talked to a lot of Terran players. The 2-racks build a little bit safer against any sort of early rush shenanigans, like a 4-gate. Meanwhile, yeah, like just a little bit more safer against those rush shenanigans, as another supply depot should be coming in, and it looks like he may be going for a factory in just a little bit of time, as a probe finally makes its way in, unable to get the damage onto the SCV. The SCV somehow negating that damage, as a Marine will finally pop out from Rough.
Yeah, so Cuz is going to be able to see the refinery, and as that Marine shoos away that probe, interesting placement on that barracks that it wasn't used to wall off there. I'm not sure whether Rough wanted his opponent to scout him there, but he's following up that Marine with a tech lab and a bunker. So we'll see whether he decides to throw down the factory in just a moment. He'll have the gas for it and go for a very techie play, but it's going to be a second barracks instead.
Yeah, this is a rather unusual build. He went for early gas, and now going into more Marines. He should be starting stim as soon as he has enough minerals. There it is. And he also has a bunker on the front door. Normally, when you have a bunker on the front door, it's an indication to your opponent that you're trying to tech. But but he's definitely not teching, as you can see. And Cuz, if he does come back in with this probe, he is going to scout out and perhaps make the wrong judgment call. And perhaps he's trying to do a little bit of a mind game into Cuz. As you can see, more Marines are currently being trained. He's only training Marines. Stim and combat shield could be added in just a moment. But the probe just pretty happy, and now it looks like it will be making its way back north in order to get some site information.
Yeah, reactor going up for Rough, so he's just gonna have the 2 racks here. Back in Cuz's base, we've been paying most of our attention to Rough. Cuz does have his 3 gates up. He's actually coming out with sentries. He's gonna have 2 early sentries here from that 1 gateway, and we'll see what he adds here for any sort of tech, whether he goes for robotics. I imagine if he does scout the bunker, and it looks like he has at this point, he might go for robotics just to make sure that he has detection in case Banshees or some sort of tech does come out from Rough, as we see Rough now adding a factory.
Yeah, SCV desperately trying to run away now. It looks like the Stalker may be able to get that final shot on him. The Stalker does move a little bit faster and able to pick it off in the back. We are going into that factory, as you mentioned, and still it's just mass Marines right now, as we are also going into the engineering base, so it may be a timing push off of 1 base. The second refinery is up and running. We should be getting that engineering bay with a level 1 weapons upgrade. Perhaps combat shield will be started as well, and then perhaps we will be going into a reactor with a starport and double training medevacs.
So a 2 racks with a +1 all Marine timing attack?
And you know what? It's definitely not cheese play, I did say the C word, but it's really non-standard as we are getting into that combat shield now and also that level 1 weapons upgrade. I kind of wish he started the engineering bay a little bit earlier, but then again, I'm not sure how the timings are going to work, but an additional 10 hit points on those Marines, plus stim, plus level 1 weapons upgrade, off of a train with a reactor on the barracks just pumping out Marines. It may be a lot of units as we are now going to finally see the swapping on the starport.
Yeah, you wonder if it would have worked out a little bit better if you went for the engineering bay before the factory. It looks like he is going to be able to get out his 2 medevacs actually supply blocked here. And he's got 2 supply depots finishing, so that's going to remedy itself shortly. But these medevacs going to finish well before the +1 finishes, so maybe reversing it a little bit would have had a more smooth timing. But we will see Ruff perhaps pushing out here, scrapping that bunker. He does have 16 Marines, so we'll see what he's able to get up to by the time the +1 and medevacs finish.
Yeah, it looks like the medevacs will be popping out in just a moment. The engineering bay gonna finish the level 1 weapons upgrade as the Marines are on the move. But there's really not that many Marines. If you take a look at it, it's maybe about 19. That is, I guess, relatively speaking, at this early stage in the game, it is a lot, especially with the combat shield and the level 1 weapons upgrade. But Ruff is gonna have to deal a lot more damage, or deal a lot of damage with these units. We are getting a 3rd medevac, but we are also going into the robotics bay, and I believe Ruff said that this build is meant in order to try to punish a Protoss player who is teching. The robotics bay is currently sitting at level 1, about 20 seconds away from being completed, as we are now going to be going into a medevac drop onto this top left-hand position here. What's going to be happening? The Marines are now going to be pushing into the main center portion here. The medevac going to have a bit of a problem. It is getting focused down. This is not looking good. The medevac does get focused down, and now the Marines are over here as well. So Cuz now chasing around a medevac. There's the force fields. The Marines now realize that they have to run inside, get some damage onto the probes. 1 probe, 2 probes have been, a couple of probes have been destroyed. Level 1 weapons upgrade has finally completed, but I believe Ruff didn't deal nearly as much damage as he needed to.
Definitely not. Though if you look at the units lost tab, it's 1400 to 1350. So I guess sort of back and forth there. Cuz does have the advantage worker-wise, 34 to 29, but I feel like that was the timing Ruff was going for and just wasn't able to make it work to his advantage.
Yeah, he definitely was not able to make it work to his advantage. He now is transitioning into the standard 3 racks play, or excuse me, 4 racks play, and now going into more starports. So it looks as though he wants to be able to counter any Colossi that will be coming out with double starports, training up those medevacs, and perhaps a lot of Marauders. However, an observer was able to fly by and see a little bit more information as Marines and Marauders are once again on the move.
Yeah, and I think Ruff, who invested so much into the early Marine upgrades there, is definitely not going to pay off like once the Colossi do come out. And 1 Colossus out on the field at the moment, but Cuz not going for the extended thermal lance. So it's going to be an interesting decision there how long he delays that, as we see Marines streaming across the field here, trying to get a little damage on to the Protoss army, but Cuz definitely going to fend those off easily with the 1 Colossus, and Ruff going to have to turn tail and go home.
Yeah, I think Ruff is going to try to clean up this proxy pylon that he spotted earlier with this factory over here at the 3 o'clock position before returning home. And Ruff still hasn't taken his gas over here at his natural. Vikings are in the air. He definitely needs to train up a lot of Vikings in order to fight off those Colossus. And if Cuz is not careful and he over-invests into Colossi, those Colossi are just going to fall apart. Range of 9 on a Viking. Very, very important. And especially with the Stalkers, if they do not have Blink, they're not going to be able to get within range in order to protect those very expensive tier 3 units.
I feel like maybe a Ruff should get an 8-pack of Marines up into one of the medevacs and position a drop for when he sees Cuz pushing out. He might be able to defend with the defender's advantage and those Vikings back at home, and then just do a ton of damage with the drop in the main of Cuz if he's not paying attention. He only has 5 gates, so 8 Marines going to do quite well against warping in units off of 5 gates, especially with the stim and the +1 upgrade. So at this point, Ruff definitely a little bit behind in both tech and army, and definitely economy. 51 to 39. He's going to need to do something to come back.
Yeah, definitely needs to do something, but it looks like both of them are in a bit of a standoff right now. They don't want to engage each other, and Cuz still hasn't started his level 1 weapons upgrade. He does have the extended, I believe he has the extended thermal lance. Yeah, that would be a very short 6 distance, as now we are seeing Marauders and Marines trying to engage. The Vikings could easily shoot down some of those Colossi there. The Colossi are in a bit of a pickle up against the wall. One Colossus is going to go down, 2 may go down, as this is going to be a hard hit. The Marines and the Marauders are now pushing in, and I think this was the break that Ruff needed.
Yeah, that was a ton of damage, getting all 3 Colossi quite easily there and not taking a lot of damage. So if these medevacs are able to heal up these units, if the Vikings are able to pick off any remaining Colossi, and good kiting by Ruff could definitely even this one up. He's overstimmed a little bit here. Most of these units in the orange and the yellow. A force field does go down. It's ineffective though, and these medevacs doing their best to keep these units alive and well. We do have another Colossus has come out, and I'm not sure where those Vikings went, whether those were cleaned up. So Ruff gonna have to once again perhaps go home, but I definitely think he thwarted that timing attack which Cuz was going for once Extended Thermal Lance had finished, with great positioning on those Vikings.
Yeah, and those Vikings, after not seeing a Colossus, tried to go into ground mode and clean up some of those probes, but right as they entered ground mode, a Colossus did appear and started cleaning them up instead, and then it was pretty much all she wrote. It looks like the Marauders and the Marines are going to focus down and take down these destructible rocks here, trying to establish that all-important third base. Ruff knows that he needs to establish a third base before his Protoss opponent, and it looks like he will not be able to do so unless he's able to force a cancellation back on this Nexus here at the Gold Mineral Patch.
Yeah, and that third base is really important if you're able to get a planetary fortress there as Terran. Maybe if you're not going siege tanks, it doesn't make too much of a difference. And we do see Cuz coming in here, going to be denying that. Ruff does get the cancel. Blizzard adding that that cancel notification there to show you the 300 minerals have been refunded, but Ruff taking a little bit of a supply lead at this point, 127 to 117, and we've got my new favorite unit, the Warp Prism, coming out.
Oh, the Warp Prism is going to be joining the battlefield. We'll see what's going to happen here as the Marines and the Marauders, quickly get picked apart. The Vikings are now going to try to engage. The Marauders and the Marines need to fight as well, as Ruff, with that extended, or with a very long range, able to take down one Colossus. The Colossi are so far back that they're not even able to engage. And this was a beautiful play by Ruff, as the Marauders and the Marines are finishing off the Stalkers, as the Vikings are taking on the Colossi there. And Cuz in a load of hurt right now, perhaps going to be forced to cancel this Nexus. No, the Nexus will be able to, canceling just at the last possible second. And that's exactly what Ruff needed in order to get back into this game.
And Ruff pushing forward, he's got quite a Bioforce coming out. He's got 3,400 to just 800 in army, and this is going to spell doom for Cuz, unless these last few units can come in here along with the probes and take down the Bio, as we see Ruff kiting back, stimming once more into the red, into the very bottoms of the HP pools on these units, but Cuz just not going to be able to take on these units, and a GG from our Protoss player. It's 2-2, vVv Ruff evening up Wednesday Night StarCraft.